Why is it that those who love God most seem to struggle the hardest? Why, when you try to draw closer to Him, does it feel like everything inside you begins to break apart? What do you do when you pray and still fall again? I'm not speaking of distant theory. This is real. This is personal. A silent war that rages where no one sees, in the thoughts, in the heart, in the dark corners of the soul. Doubt creeps in. The pain of failure weighs heavy. Fear whispers, "What if they knew? What if God turns away from me?" But hear this. This is not just weakness. This is war. And the Bible warned us of it. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit what is contrary to the flesh. Galatians 5:17. The battle is real. The enemy targets those who are chosen. But where the battle is fiercest, God's grace is nearest. It doesn't start with an obvious sin. It begins with a quiet, almost imperceptible shift, a restlessness that the hero cannot name. Outwardly, everything seems right. Prayers are still spoken, duties still performed. But within, something stirs. The heart beats with a strange, unshakable unease. A subtle tension clouds the soul. The hero wonders, "Why am I troubled? What is this shadow that follows me?" The spirit was already testifying, but the mind resisted. A warning whispered deep inside, yet reason pushed it aside, clinging to the illusion of control. "Surely nothing is wrong. I am still walking the path." But the path beneath begins to slope gently downward, almost too slight to notice. This is the secret beginning of distance from God, not in open rebellion, but in the slow, silent sliding of the soul, like a ship that drifts when its anchor loosens unnoticed. The Bible teaches, the inner man is the first to feel the pressure of the spiritual battle long before the eyes can see it. The hero's inner person trembles as temptation's breath draws near, even though no outward sign reveals the storm that brews. Every glance that lingers too long, every desire excused as harmless, these are the first stones laid on the path away from God. And though heaven is silent, the silence weighs heavy, as if urging the heart to awaken before it is too late. The storm is no longer outside. The storm is within. The hero retreats into himself, weighed down by guilt that no longer fades with time. Every prayer feels empty. Every attempt to reach God seems to echo back in silence. The voice of the Lord, once so near, now feels distant, lost beneath layers of shame and regret. When a person drifts from God, he seeks a substitute. And so the enemy steps in, offering counterfeit comforts, fleeting pleasures, hollow promises, illusions that promise peace but deepen the emptiness. The hero tastes them all, yet none satisfy. The flesh whispered, and the spirit was silent. Temptation spoke sweetly, but no word of life came in reply. The soul stood still, trapped between what the flesh craved and what the heart truly longed for. The battle has reached its breaking point. Nothing external changes, but inside the hero stands on the edge. The pleasures that once dulled the pain no longer work. The darkness that once seemed like shelter now suffocates. And in that deep, frozen silence, where the spirit's cry is too weak to form words, something begins to stir. A thirst for the true light. A longing for what is real, what is holy. Though unseen, God's presence draws near. Like the first warmth before the dawn breaks, His mercy approaches. The silence is not His absence. It is the space in which His grace prepares to enter. Friends, let me take a brief pause here. Please, write in the comments, where are you listening to this story from? Have you ever faced something like this in your own walk with God? How did the Lord speak to your heart in those moments of silence and struggle? I truly want to hear from you. Your words may encourage someone else who feels alone right now. And don't forget to subscribe, because ahead we'll dive even deeper into revelations from God's Word that can change your life. At last, the hero reaches the end of himself. No more strength to fight, no more clever words or excuses, only tears, tears that fall freely, tears that speak the prayer his lips can barely form. Lord, forgive me. Help me. He could not climb out of the pit, but God came down to him, not in anger, not with condemnation, but with mercy that wraps around the broken soul like a warm, healing light. This was never about the hero's strength. It was always about God's grace. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, you will not despise. Psalm 51:17. In that sacred moment of surrender, heaven draws near. The chains of guilt and shame begin to fall. The heavy silence breaks, not with a shout, but with the quiet, steady whisper of love. You are mine. Come home. And so begins the restoration. Prayer flows again, not forced, but living. The soul, once dark and weary, fills with light. The inner man, once crushed, stands tall in the strength of God. Slowly, the hero feels clean again, washed, made whole, renewed. Where the fall seemed like the end, it became the door to a deeper walk, a greater intimacy with the Father. The fall was not the end. It was the doorway to a new depth. If you are in the midst of this battle, know this: you are not alone. This is a sign that you are precious, that you have a calling. The enemy attacks those in whom he sees God's purpose. But God is mighty to restore even what seems dead. Don't stay in the shadows. Write, share. Walk this path to the end in God's light. Your story is only beginning.